Hello, welcome, 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 welcome. This is Spiritual Mixtape and I am Daisy Mac. And today I have my good friend Lisa Malia with me. If you've been on my Instagram last week, you'll see us having this whole coffee chat about Deja vu. And I really do recommend that you go in there and talk about it. And I've been actually a bit nervous about it, Lisa, because I was saying some pretty vulnerable, like talking about a few things that I don't usually talk about. And I was like, oh, now it's up on my social media. Let it live there. But Lisa is very special to me. We met in a mastermind. We were just pretty weird together. And that is like my love language, being allowed to be weird with another human being and then being completely accepting of it is how I like to build bridges of trust. And Lisa is a feminine leadership and self-trust coach. She really specializes in helping you connect to your intuition. If you haven't got her intention planner, you must invest in it. And I know that most people who've been coached by me have seen Lisa in and out of my breath works, and a very important person to me. So Lisa, how are you? How are you? Because the world is weird, and not in a fun sort of weird. It's just a bit odd right now. How are you doing?
I am doing well and feeling a little bit weird, which is perfect, especially for this conversation. I love your intro because even as you're sitting here talking, I feel like that kid in school who needs to like sit on my hands and like bite my lip because otherwise I'm going to burst out giggling inappropriately. Like, or when you're sitting in church and you like look at your friend across the aisle and you're supposed to be quiet and reverent, but really you want to laugh. And I feel like that just happens to you and I, if you put us in a situation where we're supposed to behave, we're probably going to be the ones giggling in the back corner.
Who doesn't want that friend? Yeah. Who doesn't want that friend? And I was actually just thinking the last time I saw you in real life, that must have been Vegas.
Gosh, yeah. Yeah.
And we were staying in downtown. So that's not the Strip, everybody. This is like the really Larry bit of Vegas. And if you're already like, wait, the Strip's not the Larry crazy bit. No.
There's more.
And the last time I think I actually saw you, we were in an Irish bar, like eating nachos, watching people fall off their chairs. I mean, it was complete like craziness, and we were being pretty sober.
And it was weird. We do seem to find it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm so here for it. I'm so down for it. But do you want me just to jump into questions?
Oh, sure. Hey, it's your show. We go wherever you want.
It's our show. It's all about community over here. Yes. We go where people want us to go. And, you know what? If we're going to go where people want us to go, I'm actually going to start with the taboo. And before we hit record, we were like, oh, do we go there? I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. This Kate Middleton stuff has been driving me insane. And I'm so sad and sorry that there is this cancer diagnosis now after all of the speculation. But the thing, like, let's take Kate Middleton out of the whole equation and just talk about the fact that it is so hard to know what's true and who to listen to. Growing up, we would default to the news. The news was true, especially in the UK, because taxpayers pay for the BBC. So news is true. That's not the case anymore. Everything's opinion. Or there's three versions of the truth. My truth, your truth, and something in the middle. And it might change as time goes on. And I found it very hard to discern who to listen to versus what felt right in my body. As a self-trust and intuition coach, where do you think, or what do you think the short circuit or the shortcut? So basically, where are we getting it wrong and where can we get it right? So we can trust what we feel.
Right.
versus what we see. And in an election year, being discerning with the truth is essential.
It's essential. Yeah. Otherwise we lose ourselves. We lose our connection to community. We lose our connection to humanity. And we begin to question and objectify everything, which serves no one. And first, I just want to echo your sentiment. A cancer diagnosis is serious and hard. Certainly a young mother. Nothing but compassion and blessings, to Her Royal Highness. And anything, I feel like, I definitely went down the, where is she? Out of legitimate concern, right? And wanting to believe that she was okay. And, getting different reports, conflicting information, and just listening to the way you were framing it. What do we do when we're getting all this information? And how do we discern what's true versus what we're feeling in our bodies? And it actually took me right back to when I had my own cancer diagnosis. And there's you are instantly overwhelmed with information. You're getting opinions from multiple doctors, all of them accredited, all of them graduated, all of them coming with raving reviews, all of them with patients that say that this is your person. They've saved me. You can trust them. And yet, I go on this path of seeking out more doctors, more teams, more advice, more information, trying to decide what course of treatment's best for me. And everything felt like a no. Once you go so far away, you can keep going and seeking more answers, seeking more information, seeking more truth, and keep outsourcing what you know to be true. Keep questioning what you already know to be true. Keep questioning what you want because you keep getting more presented to you. And this is what I teach to the women going through breast cancer, the women in my circles, of feminine leadership is at the end of the day, when you feel like you actually have all the information you need, what do you feel to be true? What is true for you? First of all, you've got to get back to some of your basic beliefs, some of your very basic values, and use those to discern what is true for you, what feels right in your body.
Do you know what I'd say about basic values? I don't think people know on the whole what their basic values are, or especially if you've worked at a big company for a long time, your basic values are often an echo of what you're working under. I think a lot of people have no idea. I mean, I don't think I had any clue until I went through my own awakening. And I say this because I don't coach as much as I used to, but like a very easy, especially if you're coaching for other people, you're doing breath work for other people, one of the easiest things you can take people through and they'll have an impact within 90 minutes is like a values exercise and then a breath work to reflect it. And it's always astounding because everyone's like, I have and it makes them cry.
Yeah.
And they felt so disconnected from their basic values. And half the reason why a lot of people that I've had experience working with, a lot of the reason why they're sad, upset, disconnected is they're living by one set of values that has nothing to do with the values that are actually important to them.
Yeah. And I think whether it's a company you're working for or even just being unclear on what your personal values are, like you said, even if you've been working for a company, you're almost outsourcing your values because you're living by whatever they put on their website that you signed up for when you first applied to work with them. But then you realize it's just a pretty page on their website. They're not actually living by it. And how do we make our values be something that's not just an idea, but actually something we can take action on, something that we actually live by?
Oh.
that informs how we do what we do.
Do you think you're able to answer that in like 60 seconds or less?
Well, you know, when you brought up having those, leading people through those sessions, right? And they end up very emotional. That is what I describe as my bathroom floor moment when I was overwhelmed with information, trying to figure out what I was going to do. I got very clear on what my values were when I was like, help me, what do I do? And it was, a few things became very clear. Help, relationships, and how I was spending my time and energy.
If you're dialed into those 3 values, can you hear your intuition better?
Absolutely. Because when you get in your head about things, you're not really available to the whispers of your intuition, or even just allowing it, asking it to show you the way.
And I mean, I feel like everybody get your pen and paper out, write that down. That was like a mic drop moment. We just, you know, perhaps we'll have to edit the mic drop in that moment.
Yeah.
But anyone who's followed for a bit knows that my dad had cancer, and that was like a big part of my journey to come here, to get to this moment. I have been very lucky that I've never had a big diagnosis, and I haven't gone through IVF. But one of the things a client who I was doing a session with last week said to me about her IVF journey was, I just had no contact with my intuition anymore. I was so, oops, sorry, that was my jade. I was so consumed with the medicine and the having a baby that for a lot, like it just, all of that connection to myself was gone, and you just kept living. She called it like living in fear, like living in a scarcity mindset, because she just kept like, got to do another round of IVF, haven't got there yet, we're running out of time, less time than I had before. And I had a friend have a conversation with me about IVF the same week, and just saying, you know, I just felt completely disconnected to myself. And for any guys out there, like, I know we're talking about IVF and breast cancer, but you go through these journeys too. Like, this is any kind of health crisis. And I know IVF isn't quite a health crisis in the same brackets, but it's a big health journey. Mm-hmm. It's really putting your body through a lot. Mm-hmm. If you lose connection with your intuition because your energy centers are like working overtime to deliver you somewhere else, like to deliver you to the thing you want to create, whether that's a baby or curing the cancer in your body, mm-hmm. Can you still have self-trust? Can you still have connection to inner you, even if you can't feel your intuition in the same way? Mm-hmm.
This is such a beautiful question and a really meaningful way to deliver it. I have a couple thoughts on that to share. You know, if you're on the front end of knowing you're about to go through a difficult journey, especially a physical one, like a cancer treatment or an IVF treatment, or, you know, any other thing that we can prepare for, and knowing that you have cultivated a relationship with your intuition, and knowing that you have this journey in front of you. A tool that I do now that I wish I had done then, which is a big reason why I have this intention planner, is to map those moments where I have been very intuitively guided, where I have evidence of times when I've listened to my intuition. I know what that feels like, tastes like, is like. And I can begin to put these pins on my roadmap of references when I feel disconnected from that. And I can go back and remind myself, if I need evidence that I know what I know and I can trust myself, it's nice to have these things to go back to and remember that decision that you made at the time with the information you had and why you made that choice. And even if you're presented with different information later, that's okay. You can alter your choice or shift as you need to. But in that moment, with everything that you knew, you intuitively made a choice that you knew was best for you. And you get to really own that. When I made the decision for the treatment plan that I wanted for myself, I knew without a doubt that that was absolutely the right course of action for me. And I found a whole team that supported me. And I didn't want a doctor that just tolerated my choices and gave them to me. I wanted a team that was enthusiastic and believed in me as much as I believed in their medicine. And we were in it together. And I did create that. And but even still, going through treatments is hard. It's hard on your body. And we are so disconnected. I mean, think about even when you go in for a well woman check, sorry guys, a pap smear. I'm sure you have your own version of this, but the sheet goes up and it's literally disconnected from everything that's happening.
Yeah.
And, when you're getting poked and prodded repeatedly by different people for different reasons, for different tests, for different treatments, there's a part of you that just kind of wants to check out till it's over. And it's a coping mechanism. Whatever you want to do, meditate and go somewhere else. You want to just, close your eyes and tell me when it's over kind of moments. And you do find yourself getting more and more disembodied in those moments if you don't have a practice to bring yourself back to yourself. So I think just there's tons of compassion for what you're doing, getting through it for however you need to. And when you can come back to those moments where you just get to take it in and offer yourself some gratitude for coming this far.
My God, I just felt super emotional, listening to you talk. Anyone who's got a friend, a loved one going through treatment or has gone through treatment sort of understands how important everything you just said was, and it's going to resonate deeply. Let's talk about, we've been talking about deja vu, and I will say I've just had a moment of feeling that. And I know that in this timeline, we've never had this conversation, even though I do have my intention planner over there. I know that we haven't done a podcast together before on this one or since you've had your intention planner, but I just felt everything you said so deeply in my body. But let's talk about the intention planner as a tool. Can we talk about it as like you just did through the lens of going through a time in your life actually where you're not connected, where you feel like you have less of a connection with your intuition, and then we can bring it back into a place of using this tool when you're feeling yeah, everything's good. But I love the idea that it's this co-creation tool that you're actually never cut off from your intuition. Even if it's not dropping down into your body immediately, right now, there's tools and people like you out there creating ways of being you're still there. It's okay. Here you go. Tell us about that. Tell us about the intention planner when you don't feel very intentional
at all. I think that, for me, it comes back to, again, some of those really basic truths and values and beliefs in those moments, because it's true. When you're in those moments, the last thing you want to do is open up a book and start journaling for 2 pages, right? You need to really first and foremost just give yourself some compassion and just doing the basics even in those moments, right? Just nutrition, a walk, and a breath. Landing in your breath, landing in your body. This is why I teach ritual so much. It provides a sense of safety for our bodies to recognize a moment that is just for us. So if you've created a ritual, and for me, the intention planner is absolutely a part of my daily practice, but whatever that is for you that you know you're going to do every day, whether it's you're going to sit and sip your coffee from an actual mug and not a to-go mug every day, you're going to actually be with your cup of tea, or you're going to actually spend a couple extra minutes in the shower. Whatever part of your ritual, you can give yourself permission to have that space for yourself to tap in and just reflect for a moment is going to open up so much possibility for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's so meaningful, because there are days, we all have them, where it's really, really a challenge. Like, especially if you've gone through health or like mental health issue, where you've gone through big life change that you didn't want, didn't ask for, but has been delivered to you. It can be very hard to move intentionally, and you giving people permission to just sip your coffee every day as enough. That's a big deal. Like, that could be life-changing for someone. It feels life-changing for me. And I would like to think that a lot of my life is ritual now. But probably the only thing I do really religiously and like a ritual is that coffee. So this is why we're friends.
Absolutely.
It's so important.
Yeah. And I would add to that one thing, if you're okay with that, going back to some of those 3 things of your values and beliefs, in that moment, if you just get 3 breaths with that cup of coffee, is to hand it over to that belief system, to that value system, that intuitive voice that guides you, or that higher power, to hold that intention that you had for yourself. I even have a girlfriend that I call when I'm doubting myself, and she goes, listen, I'll believe this for you. I'll hold your bubble of belief until you want to reclaim that again. Right. So there are moments when it's even too much effort to believe what we believe. Right. And you want to hand that trust piece to the thing that you do believe in, and just say, okay, guides, okay, universe, okay, higher self, future self, whoever, I know that this intention that I'm holding, you can help me hold this until I'm ready to take it again.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that this was not where I thought we were going to go with this conversation. I thought we were going to be talking a lot about the lower aspects of this Mars Pisces vibe right now, because that is how we've been bonding for the last couple of weeks. We've been like, what are these truths that people are withholding from us? But we've been guided actually to a place, you know, when this podcast comes out on Friday, we'll still be in March, but April, we are halfway through this real big Creon, the wounded healer.
Mm-hmm.
My dogs are like barking.
I love it.
We're really in this, I call it like life rooms. Moana is my dog. She's like, yes, we're in a really big life room. And I wouldn't even say with this particular movement in Creon, if you're feeling it, it's not even just a room that's appearing in your life house. It is like a whole new floor, cantilevered. Like, this is taking you from a nice home to like a dream home. But you've got to like move through this really kind of painful change, and everything that you've provided, all of this wisdom that you've given in the last like 25 minutes. It's really about when your body and your brain aren't quite connecting, and how to keep going, even though everything that you've grown up with, everything that you've understood is no longer there, like how you keep moving. And I do think that like delivering that little bit of the map as we head into like another 8 months of like, wait, are you just going to let like your house, just these random workmen come in and they might not plumb things in properly? Your cantilever might be wonky. Or are you going to have like the top notch, most amazing dream home? It's going to look and feel like, I mean, $1 million isn't a lot in real estate here, but
I know.
It could feel like $1 million.
It used to sound like it.
A few $1 million.
Yeah.
And I think what you're saying and what you're giving people with the intention planner and with these tools of like, just get back to basics, enjoy your cup of coffee, dial into these things. Don't ignore your foundation. It's the best. This is the best tool you could give people right now, because you've got to keep moving and you've got to keep building, even though you don't feel completely healed.
Right.
Completely ready.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, can I hire you? You're amazing.
I love you so much.
Well, I have loved talking to you. But what I think I love more is that you have a free ebook out this week.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even know that this was happening. So I don't know anything about it. Please tell us everything.
Well, I think it's really wild that this is a conversation we're having today, and just, you know, we can call it that deja vu, that red thread that ties us all together, intuition, instinct, all the things, that I've been called to write about. And it is exactly a tool to guide people to a sense of self-trust and approaching it to really answer the whispers of your future self, your intuition, your soul purpose, from a place of those foundational pieces, your values, your beliefs, and what you're called to do and how you're called to show up in the world, so that you're having the experiences that you were born in this lifetime to have.
Don't underestimate this. And men, you too should listen to this, but especially us women. Everything we are told from the moment we are kids is how to not trust ourselves.
Right.
How to give our trust to something else, even when it doesn't. And we learn to ignore that feeling of like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't, like, we learn to ignore ourselves.
Right.
And trust in something. I don't even know what we're trusting in anymore. And that's half the problem of what this year is going to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So your book, I honestly, okay. So just so you all know, I was, I wouldn't say completely disorganized, but we'd put this together a little bit late, and I hadn't read. I just asked for the links and then just glanced over. Oh, there's a free ebook from Lisa this week. And hadn't had the chance to read what it was about. And I can't believe that I just did that whole, like, we've just done a whole episode literally on what your books.
You would have
that was not set up.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You would have thought that this was all set up for that purpose, but it absolutely was not.
I feel like Kensington Palace now. This was not set up.
Somehow. Yep. Isn't that wild?
I'm so happy. I'm so happy that worked out. Our red threads were like pre-agreed way before we were born that this was a conversation. And that's why it felt like deja vu in that moment. But wait, is there anything else? Okay, I've talked about the intention planner. You should get your hands on that. It's on Amazon, right?
It is on Amazon. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I love that.
And you can work via the moons with it. But I know that I actually started slightly out of sync and you just helped me start.
Yeah, but I love that actually, especially now with this big full moon that we just had. You absolutely
just
can start out of sync. Just start.
Completely.
Yeah, just start. Don't wait for everything to be perfect.
I would say to people, if you're really feeling the Creon energy, which is the wounded healer thing again, and if you've been following my socials and this is resonating with you, the midpoint for this big Creon evolution is the 8th of April, which is the lunar eclipse. So if you haven't got Lisa's book yet, this is a really, really good time to start with the intention planner and really trace this through to the end of this Creon journey, which is beginning of 2025. So
wow.
I'm just saying, you want your spiritual home in order. You want your physical home to be represented in your spiritual home. This is the time to invest in the intention planner, move with Lisa's energy, start to follow your own threads and see where your intention and your values can start to shape. So you're not always the victim in other people's winds of change. You can be your own architect and bring some good shit about.
Yes. Thank you. More of that. Amen.
And on that note, all of Lisa's details are going to be in the show notes. Lisa is in general all around on my social media. So please find her. Lisa Malia. I want to say that is what your Instagram is.
Yes. Love Lisa Malia is the full handle.
Oh, of course. Love Lisa Malia. And you know where I'm at, Spiritual Mixtape. If you've loved this episode, please do consider leaving a review or sharing with a friend, whatever feels good for you, and save this. Come back to it. This information, there isn't a sell-by date on it. This is good to go for a really long time. So if you're feeling wobbly around some of these issues that we've been talking about, save, come back to it. Start to follow your threads. All right, loves. You've been amazing. Thank you again, Lisa. I can't wait to have you back. You have no choice. You're definitely coming back.
I can't
wait. Everybody have a lovely April and happy Easter.